In this video, we'll train TJBot to identify which language a greeting is in, check if there is a translation model available to English, and if so, translate the greeting using the Watson Language Translator service. In the Node-RED editor, drag an inject node from the palette onto the canvas. Double-click on the inject node and set the payload to the string value of chow. Drag a translate node from the palette onto the canvas. Double-click on the translate node to configure it. The translate node uses the Watson Language Translator service. We need to get these credentials from IBM Bluemix before we can use it. Click on the link icon next to the Language Translator heading. I'm already signed into my IBM Bluemix account. Create your IBM Bluemix account at bluemix.net. Click Create. Each Watson service has separate service credentials. Click on Service Credentials in the menu on the left. Click on View Credentials to display the credentials. Copy the username and password into the input boxes under the Language Translator section. Select Identify Language from the Mode drop-down menu. Give the node a name, Identify Language. Drag a function node from the palette onto the canvas. Double-click on the function node and paste the JavaScript found in the README file on GitHub. This function finds the language with the highest confidence score and sets a message.sourceLang property to the two-letter language code. Let's check that there is a translation model available from the source language to English. Drag a translate node from the palette onto the canvas. Select Is Translatable from the Mode drop-down menu. Choose the option Set Message.sourceLang in the From drop-down menu. Select English in the To language drop-down menu. Give the node a name, Can Translate to English. This node returns a boolean, true if there is a translation model, or false otherwise. Drag a switch node from the palette onto the canvas. Double-click on it and set the property to message.response. Set the condition to is true. Drag a translate node from the palette onto the canvas. Select message.sourceLang in the From language drop-down menu. Select English in the To language drop-down menu. Drag a debug node from the palette onto the canvas. Double-click on the debug node and change the output to message.response. Connect the nodes together. Click on the Deploy button in the top right corner of the Node-RED editor. Run the flow by clicking on the tab on the left side of the inject node. The response from the Language Translator service is displayed in the debug window. Change the debug output to dive deeper into the translation result. Set the output value to message.response.translations index0.translation. Click on the Deploy button in the top right corner of the Node-RED editor. Run the flow by clicking on the tab on the left side of the inject node. The translation is displayed in the debug window. Let's try another example. Drag a second inject node from the palette onto the canvas. Double-click on the inject node and set the payload to the string value of bonjour. Connect it to the translate node. Click on the Deploy button in the top right corner of the Node-RED editor. Run the flow by clicking on the tab on the left side of the inject node. The greeting, in French, is translated into English with no additional modifications to the flow.